So have you seen the headlines? The experts are celebrating. The government's taking a big victory lap and the official word is out. Canada has dodged the recession bullet. It's canceled. As a mortgage broker in British Columbia, my first reaction was, are we living in the same country? Because from where I'm sitting and from the conversations I've had every single day, the recession isn't canceled. For millions of Canadian families, it's already here. The headlines are telling you one story, but I bet your bank account is telling you a completely different one. Today, we're going to break down the gap between the official story and the real story, and I'm going to show you why that financial pain that so many of you are probably feeling is very, very real, and hopefully in my next video, some ideas and steps that can help you maybe ease some of that pain during difficult times. So let's break this down. The official story is that our economy grew, which on paper means we avoided a technical recession. But those numbers just don't match the phone calls I get every single day with customers and people on the streets. The government can celebrate a GDP figure, but last time I checked, GDP doesn't pay your mortgage. Let me give you a real anonymized example from right here in BC. A young family bought a townhouse in Surrey back in 2021. They were ecstatic. They got a 5-year fixed rate at around 1.89%. Their monthly payments, about $3,200 a month. It was tight, but they make it work. That mortgage is coming up for renewal in 2026. We ran the numbers for them last week, and even being conservative with rates, their new payments are projected to shoot up to around $4,600 a month. That's a $1,400 increase every single month. For that family, a headline about GDP growth means absolutely nothing. Their personal economy is staring down a catastrophe. That extra $1,400 is their kids' education savings, their car payment, their grocery bills. That is a recession for them, and they are far from alone. The Bank of Canada itself has stated that a staggering 60% of all mortgages in the country are coming up for renewal in 2025 and 2026, bleeding into 2027. This isn't some abstract economic theory. This is lived reality. This is what I call a housing recession. It's not measured by GDP. It's measured by sleepless nights and the quiet stress that builds when your income stays flat, but your single biggest expense is about to explode. So why is there such a massive disconnect between the official headline and the anxiety that many people are feeling right now? The answer lies in one of the darkest clouds hanging over our economy: household debt. For years, we've been told taking on debt to get into an ever-rising house market was the Canadian dream, but the path led us to a very dangerous place. As of the second quarter of 2025, the household debt to income ratio in Canada is hovering around 175%. Let me translate that for you. It means for every $1 of disposable income the average Canadian household has, it owes about $1.75. Think about that. We owe far more than we earn. The household debt is now over $3.1 trillion, and about 75% of that is mortgage debt. We are one of the most indebted populations in the developed world. And now the cost of carrying all that debt is skyrocketing. The household debt service ratio, that's the slice of your income that goes just to paying your interest and principal, is at all-time highs. Your paycheck isn't getting much bigger, but larger and larger chunks of it are being eaten up by your debt before you can even buy groceries or gas. This is a household recession. It's a slow, grinding squeeze on your personal finances. It's the reason why, even though the economy is supposedly growing, you feel like you're falling behind. This brings us to the big question. If everyday Canadians are so squeezed, where is this so-called economic growth coming from? When you peel back the layers of the recent GDP report, the picture becomes very clear and, frankly, a little concerning. The growth that allowed that headline to shout "recession canceled" wasn't driven by a strong, healthy domestic economy, not even close. Instead, economists have pointed out that it was largely propped up by a statistical illusion in our trade numbers. The main reason for the boost was that our imports fell sharply by around 8.6%. That's not a sign of a strong economy. It's a sign that Canadians and Canadian businesses are buying less stuff. On top of that, a surge in government capital spending also propped up the numbers. And what did that include? A massive jump in spending on military weapons systems. So while you're trying to afford groceries, government spending on military hardware was booked as economic growth. Meanwhile, household spending, what you and I actually buy, declined. The core of our domestic economy, the part where you and I live in, is showing serious signs of weakness. This isn't real organic growth. It's a statistical mirage. And there's another term you need to know: per capita recession. While the overall economic pie might be getting slightly larger, our population is growing much faster. Recent data has shown that on a per person basis, our economy output has been declining for 6 consecutive quarters. Think of it this way: we're adding more people to the dinner table, but the pie isn't really getting any bigger. So everyone's slice is just getting smaller. That's what it feels like for so many Canadians right now. Your personal slice of the economic pie is shrinking, and that, my friends, is a recession in everything but name. Now, before we get into the next parts of this, if you want more honest analysis like this, do me that favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button so more people like you can see this video. It really helps me grow the channel. Thanks for that. Let's carry on. Now, let's bring this all back to British Columbia. Here in BC, we are at the absolute epicenter of this crisis. We have some of the most expensive housing in North America, and foreclosures are already starting to tick up. Now, as mentioned in a previous video, they aren't ticking up relatively aggressively, but they're still going in the wrong direction. Now, our economy is projected to grow by a sluggish 1.4% in 2025 and 1.3% in 2026, which I would say is hardly booming. And that wall of mortgage renewals I mentioned earlier is going to hit us harder than almost anywhere else. An estimated 2.09 million mortgages are set to renew in 2026 and 2027 across Canada. And a huge number of those are right here in BC, where people took massive loans during the frenzy of 2021 and 2022. This isn't just a financial challenge, it's a threat to the stability of households across our province. People will have to make brutal and horrible choices. Do we sell our house in a softening market? Do we drain our life savings to keep up with our payments? This is the reality that the headline GDP numbers completely ignore. The growth is happening on paper in Ottawa, while the pain is happening at the kitchen table in BC and other provinces across Canada. The idea that the recession is canceled is, from my perspective, insulting to millions of Canadians who are looking at their financial future with genuine fear and anxiety. The official definition of a recession is failing us. It's an outdated metric that no longer captures the financial reality of an economy drowning in household debt. So let's call this what it is. The headline numbers are a distraction. They are a statistical anomaly created by a drop of imports and a surge in government spending. They do not reflect a healthy, thriving economy for the average person. The real story is the household recession. It's defined by record debt, stagnated wages, and by a massive, terrifying wave of mortgage renewals that is about to crash down on families in BC and across the country. The numbers in Ottawa might say the recession is canceled, but for millions of Canadians staring down a 30, 40, or even 50% increase in their mortgage payment, the financial pressure is incredibly real. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about being realistic. It's about acknowledging that the official story and the real story have become two completely different things. Don't let a headline make you doubt what you're seeing with your own eyes and feeling in your own budget. Prepare now. Understand your numbers. Talk to professionals, because this storm isn't canceled, it's just getting started. Now, I want to hear from you. What are you seeing in your community? Are these headlines matching your reality? Make sure to put them in the comments below and share stuff, because someone might be going through something that you might have gone through and you might be able to help them. Sharing is caring after all. And if you found this analysis helpful, please hit that subscribe button and keep an eye out for my next video, where I'm going to go through a couple of tips on how to, alleviate some of the pressure of what's going on right now. My name is Myles Nowik of the Nowik Mortgage Team, powered by Andy Mortgage. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.